Good day and welcome to COTK Online. My name is Hannah Nell and I serve as the youth pastor here at Church of the King. Today, I want to invite you to get connected. If it's your first, second, 10th, or 100th time that you are watching COTK Online, I want to invite you to get connected in the spiritual family. You can do that by filling out the Connect card on our website or using the link down in the description box below. Today, I would also like to say thank you so much for your generosity. I want to thank you for sowing your money into God's kingdom and trusting Him and see what He can do globally and locally. Today, you can give by texting the number available on the screen. You can also use our website or our app. Thank you and enjoy today's word.
Welcome to Church of the King Online. My name is Todd. I'm the pastor. It is fantastic to be with you today. We are in week 2 of Uncommon Relationships. Last week was all about uncommon love, that we must first receive love, the love of God, if we think that we're going to be able to give it. And we talked about the skills-based way that we can do that, but it really is foundational of receiving love. But today we're talking about the big C, commitment. Because it's impossible to have a deep, meaningful, and loving relationship without some level of commitment. And so we're looking at commitment biblically and what it looks like. And specifically today, what it looks like in a committed relationship in marriage. Now, if you're not married, that's okay. Statistically, you're more than likely to be married. If you've been divorced, that's okay as well. If you're too young and aren't married or too old, it's okay. Because the principles and foundations of commitment matter in relationships. You know, the foundational verse for this whole series is Romans 12, 1 and 2, which says, "Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and pleasing and perfect." And what I want for you is the perfect relationship, knowing that in this broken world, perfection doesn't exist. But in the Spirit of God, where there are moments where absolutely it does, but we can have good and pleasing relationships. It's the perfect relationship for us, even if it's with fallible people. And I so want that for you. But it begins when we're not living life according to what this world says is important, but to what God says. Which brings us to really the world's way. What does the world say about a committed marriage, a committed relationship in general? This is what it says. You ready? Because there's 4 things. Here's the first one. Find the right person. Listen, if you can just find Mr. or Mrs. Right, if you can find that one person that completes you, man, that's what it takes. But that's not really true. Like, just find the right person. Like, I get the sentiment. You don't want to find the wrong person, but finding the right person, that's really the world's way. The next step, when you do find the right person, or you think you do, you fall in love. This is how you make it last. You find that one person and then you fall in love and you're like, oh, it's so amazing. I just can't live without him. I think about him all the time. I want him with me. And then the third thing, fix all of your hopes and dreams on them. They become where your future is. Every hope that you have, every dream that you have, you find that right person. You fall in love with them. And then you fix all of your hopes and dreams on them. And if failure occurs, you just repeat steps 1 through 3 again. This is the way of the world. I thought they were the one. I thought they were the right one. And I just gave everything, my hopes, my dreams, my future, my finances, all of it. It didn't work out. Thought it was love. Oh, well, I'll try again. See, that's the world's way. And this is why so many people following the world's way end up in a string of relationships that simply break their heart and leave them broken down. That's not God's way. God's way is about commitment. It's not find the right person, it's become the right person. Because daily, you walk in the love of God, you receive His love, and you allow the love of Jesus to transform you. Don't be conformed to this world, be transformed. You allow the love of Christ to so permeate every aspect of your heart, mind, and soul that you become like him. You become the right person. The right person, becoming the right person, knows where your source of satisfaction, your source of validation, your source of love, your source of life comes from. And it's not another person. My source of security and peace and joy should never be fixed on a person because they're going to let you down. I've been married for over 26 years. Your spouse, that when you said, I do, yeah, there's going to be times that they don't, okay? I'm just saying. And you're going to be times where you don't necessarily live up to every ideal that you hope for, and they certainly won't because they're not perfect. But when you set your heart on the love of Christ and you allow his love and his voice to speak to you about who you are, who he is, what he's called you to, that you are loved by him, that you are valued, that your affirmation, your sense of self, your sense of security and purpose come from him, not another person. The world's way, find the right person. God's way, become the right person because you've received love. The second thing, it's not about falling in love. It's about walking in love, which is a continual exercise of giving. I give my heart, my soul, my mind, my time, my talent, my treasure to God and to other people. I walk and I become the right person. I walk in love. I fix all my hopes and dreams on God, not a person. This is how God's way is vastly different than the world's way. The world's way, hey, find the right person, fall in love, fix all your hopes and dreams on them. And if that doesn't work out, just repeat steps 1 through 3. God's way is become the right person. Walk in love. Don't fall into love. Love is not something that you stumble into. Just randomly met at this place and it just happened. No, that we choose to walk in love because there's going to be seasons where the relationship feels like it's going downhill fast and you're about to go head over heels, not in love, but in trouble because you're going dong, 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 dong. And you have to choose to walk in love, not your emotions. Emotions, they're fleeting. They're great data points. You shouldn't ignore them. But they're terrible dictators. When you choose to walk in love, becoming the person that God's called you to, and fixing your hopes and your dreams not on another, but on him, this is the foundation for understanding how relationships can last because they're not built on the other person because that other person is flawed. They may be wonderful and amazing, but they're not perfect. You build on them, it's going to come crashing down. And then you'll have to go to step 4, which is repeat 1 through 3. Become the right person. Walk in love. Fix your hopes and dreams on God. He's not going to let you down. What happens if it doesn't work out? Repeat steps 1 through 3. Become the right person. Walk in love. Fix your hopes on God. Malachi 2:13 through 16 is speaking to the husbands, the men. And so I get this. It resonates with me. It says, you fled the Lord's altar with tears. You weep and wail because he no longer looks with you on favor on your offerings or accepts them with pleasure from your hands. And you ask, why? It's because the Lord is the witness between you and the wife of your youth. You've been unfaithful to her. And though she's your partner, the wife of your marriage covenant, has not the one that God made for you? You belong to him in body and spirit. And what does the one God seek? Godly offspring. Let's just pause here for a moment. This isn't simply about biological children. This is the fundamental principle, biblical and godly principle, that you reproduce what you are. And if we're unfaithful, if we're living in an uncommitted manner, we're setting up generationally a mess. God's heart for us is to reproduce according to our kind that's been connected to him, godly offspring. So be on your guard and don't be unfaithful to the wife of your youth. The man who hates and divorces his wife, says the Lord, the God of Israel, does violence to the one he should protect. So be on your guard. Don't be unfaithful. I don't know a single person who entered into a committed relationship with somebody that they really knew that this is the one. I think this is the God one. They never want to end up at the place where there's unfaithfulness, indeed, action, immorality. Like nobody wants to end up at that place. We have to recognize that we reproduce what we are. And if we're going to live in a committed relationship, we have to first be committed to the one who has committed himself to us and demonstrated his love in giving first. For God so loved that he gave. For God so loved the world, but for God so loved you that he gave. And I want you to understand that we're called to commitment and to be faithful. This is just so good. Commitment means staying loyal to what you said you're going to do long after the mood you said it in left you. That is what commitment is. It's not led by feelings. It's led by an unwavering, steadfast commitment. I will be here. I will be faithful. I will give of myself. God's uncommon commitment. Here it is, and it's what we should aspire to. Here's the first one. I commit to prioritize you. God's made you his priority. He knows you. He loves you. You're his priority. 1 John 3:16. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and our sisters. Am I prioritizing other people's needs above my own? I need to be healthy and whole because I'm spending time in the presence of God. I'm receiving love for him. But I need to prioritize other people. I need to be healthy and whole because I've spent time with God. But I need to recognize that my call is twofold. One, to God. Second, to people. And if I'm married or I have friends or kids or parents or grandparents, I need to be first called to God, spending time with him and surrendering to him and giving back to him. And I need to be a demonstration to those people that I just mentioned in me prioritizing them and giving to them. That is convicting. That is convicting because we can say, well, I never cheated on anybody. I never said anything. I never did anything wrong. But in our heart, there's not a sacred space for that relationship. In our heart, they're not set apart as something special. It's just common. It's just another thing that we do. But if you want to have uncommon relationships, you have to have uncommon commitment, which says, I commit to prioritize you. I will love and give and serve you to my own hurt. And in a marriage, when it's two people doing that, oh, wow, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's hard work because our flesh cries out, but I've got to prioritize other people. I commit to prioritizing you. The second thing, I commit to pursue you. The silent treatment just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't. Like it doesn't. If the goal is to make people feel distant and bring misery into the relationship, well, I guess that would work in a sense, but it's not. We're called to pursue people, just like God is pursued. I felt like God my whole life has been knocking on the door of my heart. He's pursuing me, and then I turn and pursue him, and I find him, and then it's like he lets me pursue him, and he kind of goes away because there's in a healthy relationship, there's pursuit and capture, pursuit and capture. Are you pursuing the people that you're committed to? Revelation 3:20, Jesus says, behold, I stand at the door and I'm knocking on the door of your heart. Man, I cannot tell you how many times that I've been frustrated with a situation and like, God, why'd you let that happen? Why'd that happen? I'll get the knock on the door of my heart. Sometimes when I'm in a dead sleep and I can just know that, okay, the Lord's speaking to me. He's pursuing. Am I pursuing the people in my life that I know are valuable? If you're married, are you pursuing your spouse? And this is not about simply an amorous love. Are you pursuing them to know them? Are you pursuing them to give of yourself to them, to prioritize them? I commit to prioritize you. I commit to pursue you. Here's the third one. Now, this one you got to bear with me because it's unique. I commit to possess you. This is not about a greedy, I take everything that you have. This is about the vow that we make in marriage to have and to hold from this day forward. To have and to hold what? To have your best interest in mind. what God has for you, what I can do for you to have and to hold your heart in my hands. This isn't about control. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't a narcissist's dream to possess you. It's about possessing. Like, I have your heart in my hands. I have your best interest in my heart, my mind, and soul. 1 Peter 2:9 says this: you're a chosen people. You're a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's very own possession. The things that are near and dear to you, you keep close. That's what it's about. I'm holding you close. I get to have you close. This is about intimacy. This is about something that's special to you. This isn't about a material thing like, oh, I possess. Oh, yeah, I've got a car. I've got a house. I got a wife. I got kids. There's a divine aspect. When you know that you are His, you're His child. I want my kids to know that they're my kid. That's not about me owning them. That's about me having them. And there's a fundamental difference. And if you don't get that as a parent, if you're a parent, you know, I have kids, and it's not about owning them. It's about the privilege and the gift that you've been given. This is how we should view every relationship that we deem valuable enough to be committed to. I prioritize, I pursue, I don't own. They're part of me. They're part of me. They have my heart and I have theirs. I commit to protect you. Psalms 121:7. This is the fourth thing. The Lord will protect you from all dangers. He will guard your life. You're called to protect. This is where men, I want to take a moment and speak to you. This is more than somebody try to mess with my wife or my kids. They gonna get it. They gonna get the business end of this gun. Yeah, I understand that. Genuinely, I do. But are you protecting them from you, your words, your actions? It's very easy to allow familiarity to breed contempt in a relationship. And the very one that you've made a vow to protect, they end up becoming a punching bag for your frustrations and your emotional struggles or your immaturity. I know, because that was me for a long time. And like, if somebody tried to mess with my wife or my kids, like specifically my wife, but it's going to be bad. But I was the one that caused more hurt to her than anyone else. And it was never my heart. And I wasn't going anywhere, and I'm faithful, but I wasn't faithful in truly protecting her because I wasn't faithful in love. Don't let that be you. How did that change? When God began to speak to me about who He was, and I was able to receive His love about who He said I was. I was able to live in a way that protects my wife. Our time together, I'm protecting her. Not from physical harm, though, yes, that's an aspect, but emotionally, spiritually, protecting her, praying over her, praying with her, grabbing her hand at night, praying blessing over her, letting my words wash every insecurity and fear off of her, protecting her from the lies of the enemy, and with my kids. Prioritize, pursue, possess, protect. And here's the fifth one: purify. I commit to purify you. Ephesians 5:25-27. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave Himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with the water through the word, and to present her to Himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. Your actions always result from what you're thinking, your words from an overflow of the heart, the mouth. Since all of this is heart issues, I commit to purify you. That means our heart needs to be purified from sin, from perversion, from wickedness, from darkness. And then from an overflow of a clean heart and clean hands, we can truly love the people that we're committed to. All of this is a heart issue. Until we get to the place where our heart is laid bare before the Lord and we say, Lord, I need you to make me the right person. I need to become the right person. I need to walk in love. I need to set all of my hopes and dreams on you. Men, your wife can never give you enough validation to make you feel secure. Ladies, your husband cannot provide for you enough to make you live in the place of security and free from fear. Our hopes and our dreams need to rest with God as we walk in His love, becoming who He's called us to be. Because He's a God who's prioritized us. He's pursued us. He counts us as His own. He protects us and He washes us clean. You need Him. And if you're struggling in a bad relationship, whether it's dating, whether it's marriage, you need to let God do a work in your heart so that your hopes and dreams rest on Him and you allow Him to make you in His image and stop trying to make somebody else into an image of something that you think that is going to fulfill you. Commitment is demonstrated by God, and true commitment happens when we surrender to Him. Maybe you need to pray that prayer of surrender to Him. Here's how it goes. Pray with me. Say, Dear Jesus, I surrender to you. I give you every area of my heart and life. I turn from my sin and my ways. I believe you died on that cross to break the curse of sin in my life. My life is yours. I give you everything because I know you gave everything for me. And I receive that in Jesus' name. Amen. I want you to walk in uncommon love and be uncommonly committed to the people that you know God's placed in your life. Seek Him. Let Him transform you. Don't let this world tell you what to do. Let His word transform you into the person He's created you and called you to be, and your relationships will flourish. Love you, and God bless.